Hey, I'm Bob. Been totally blind since birth, and I'm into Power Rangers. So, we talked about Rangers I'd like to see in Battle for the Grid in our last video. I'd like to continue that conversation today, continue those hopes, continue those dreams today, maybe adding a few bad guys into the mix as well. So, I'm thinking of secondary supers also for some of the characters that we already have because, like I said in other videos, Battle for the Grid, I feel like each character needs more than one super. I mean, that would just be cool. Jason's Tyrannosaurus super, where he uses that to, I guess, do a kind of headbutt attack. From what I understand, it would be cool if he actually could summon all the other Rangers to his side, and we could see them all firing the Power Blaster at one time for maybe a secondary super there for Jason. Because, I mean, the Tyrannosaurus headbutt thingy, it's okay, but I love the finishing attack that the Power Blaster would dish out against monsters and other opponents. Just a really fun cinematic, show accurate super there for Jason, and he does wear the power shield there, Tommy's shield. So maybe you could give that skin a different super entirely. We do know that Jason used both the Power Sword and the Dragon Dagger to deliver a finishing blow on the Cardiotron in the episode Birds of a Feather. So maybe, give him another super there while he's wearing his Power Shield skin, involving that fancy schmancy energy slash attack, that double sword dagger combo attack that he used. He also used it on Palutacorn in the episode Cleanup Club. So that would kind of be interesting to incorporate a secondary super, or just an alternate super for that skin, because Tommy has one when he's wearing his White Ranger skin. He'll summon the Tiger Sword, and I think it probably, what does it do, fire a Thunderbolt? I don't know, because I can't see, and no one really describes these supers online in any articles. So that would also be helpful too if you guys could maybe describe a lot of their supers and things that they do in the comment section, because, well, I just don't have anything like that to go on here in terms of audio description or anything like that. So let's see here. Who else could go for another super? I'm thinking of Lord Zed. I really enjoy his super, but he could also have a super where he summons monsters to attack his opponents. Zed summoning putties to hold them while he, zaps them with his staff. That's all right, but it would be cool to give Zed another cinematic super where, let's say he summons Piranha's Head first, and Piranha's Head, being the first monster Zed ever created, he would use his nunchuck flute weapon, to do a hit or two. And then Primitar could come in and shapeshift into various rangers as he strikes you. And then Zed could summon Nimrod, the Scarlet Sentinel from the White Light two-part miniseries, and she could maybe electrocute you for a strike. And then if we don't get a Serpentera Mega Assist, that would be an interesting way to end Zed super, with Serpentera just looming onto the screen and firing a big old mouth laser at you for an attack. So kind of a cinematic super, another super for Zed there. Goldar should have a super involving possibly Rito coming onto the screen. Maybe they could do a team up attack where they could both be wailing on the opponent with their swords. Then maybe Cyclopsis could come in and blast them with one of his big energy attacks there. I don't know, just something a bit more show accurate and cinematic. Goldar's big belly flop attack, it's okay, but I mean he also used things like eye lasers and his Zord, and I mean we did see Goldar fighting with monsters and things like that. So make another super that maybe involves some things that he did on the show. He did I guess use his wings to fly a bit, although I have no idea if he did or not because I can't see him. But yeah, something involving other characters that come in or things like that would be kind of interesting for Goldar to have a second super. So I'm thinking of Wild Force when it comes to Rangers. I don't know if we've no, I don't think we have gotten any Wild Force Rangers. So I'm thinking of Merrick, the Lunar Wolf Ranger. He could do some moves involving his Lunar Q. He could probably summon his his Savage cycle and do some attacks where it kind of rolls onto the screen. He hops on it and he can, run you down with that. Of course, he could summon his Zords there during his super. But I mean, Merrick is only one piece of the puzzle, though. I really want to see Zenaku as his own playable character. I don't think you could make him a skin because he would have different attacks entirely. He had a different weapon, the Crescent Blade. He could, cause a Crescent Wave attack, and of course he could summon the Dark Predazords and do some various attacks there while in his Duke Org form. So if I don't know, I'm torn. I want to see Merrick, but I also want to see Zenaku. Probably Zenaku a bit more than Merrick, just because I love bad guys. But I mean, if they could be their own individual characters, that would kind of be cool too. Let's see, what else would I want to see? Phantom Rangers, since I haven't mentioned Power Rangers Turbo yet, you could bring him in. He'd be a fun addition to Battle for the Grid. Since he gave the Rangers the Rescue Zords and Artillotron, maybe you could give him access to some of those attacks. Since he did bring the Rescue Zord, so it would make sense that maybe they could grab him from the part of the timeline where he was going to deliver those Zords, as a form of story element. So he could actually have access to some of the Rescue Zord attacks for his moveset. Of course, he could use his invisibility to really confuse his opponent as well. Possibly, I mean, his super could involve Rescue Megazord coming in and just blasting the opponent with its artillery power. Although, if you wanted to give Rescue Megazord its own Mega Assist, that would kind of be fun too. What else do we want to see here? I would say Thunder Megazord and Mega Tiger Zord, but I guess since Grave Zord already utilizes some of those attacks, I don't know if you could do that. Although I have no idea what Grave Zord's moveset looks like because virtually no one has described what it does. So maybe if some of you guys could look up that information and describe his A, B, and C assist attacks for me, that would be cool if you were to do that in the comment section below. I wouldn't be opposed to Thunder Megazord or Mega Tiger Zord coming onto the screen, though, because they're some of my favorite Zords. Ultra Zord would be a fun Mega Assist. The original Ultra Zord. He could roll onto the battlefield and possibly fire all weapons at you for one attack. Then maybe he could just run over the opponent for another. I don't know what his third assist attack would be for an Ultra Zord Mega Assist. I can only think of two. Let's see here. I did mention Astro and Delta Megazords from space for, attacks when I was talking about Andros in the first video. So we already talked about those. Who else could we hopefully see in Battle for the Grid? Any of the other Hyperforce Rangers from that season would be cool. Eddie, the blue Hyperforce Ranger, would be cool. Of course, Chloe, the pink Hyperforce Ranger, etc. Of course, Jack, the yellow Ranger, would be fun too. You could get Paul Schreier to come in and do the voice for Jack, since I mean he has done voice work in Power Rangers, as Premator and Brat Boy when Bulk was turned into a monster. I mean, this guy has done his fair share of voice work too. So you could actually have the voices for these characters who play the tabletop game come in. Do their voices as well. And since Strawberry 17 has done the voice of Kimberly in this game, I mean, you could actually get her back in and do Chloe from Hyperforce. If that's possible, that would be kind of cool. We give her her own moveset, have her go into her Pink Battle Warrior outfit as an install super or something like that. Or she could summon her Phoenix Zord to fire its feathers at you for an attack too, or during her super. Quite a few options. I mean, this franchise is just chock full of Rangers that you could add to Battle for the Grid. I'm also thinking of Master Vile from Season 3 of Mighty Morphin. He'd be a really cool addition to the roster. He could summon the blue Globber, and he could have his monster attack, possibly drain some health from the opponent and give the health to Vile, or maybe make Globber more powerful the way we saw in Master Vile in the metallic armor. Rito Revolto would actually be a really cool character to add as well, to make him his own character if you don't want to have him doing a super attack with Goldar there. He could actually use his sword, electrify it with lightning, and strike at you with that. And plus, he did summon a flamethrower too when he was a big boy, a big giant. And he could do some flamethrower attacks there for projectile attacks and things like that. Rito, since he did summon the Tangas, he could summon Tangas for some minion attacks there, because he would call for those when he was in battle as well. They could pick up the character and maybe just kind of hold them aloft in the air, so Rito could get some air combos in that would make him easier to use some air combo attacks, things like that. You could go for some interesting juggle attacks there, or some air combo attacks if Rito could summon Tangas and they could just kind of fly with the character up in the air. That would kind of be cool for Rito's moveset. Just a couple of ideas there for him. So I think I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I don't want to make these videos too terribly long. So I will be back next time with more hopes and dreams for Battle for the Grid, future seasons, and things like that. The possibilities are endless because Power Rangers is such a long-running franchise. So many characters to consider adding, and hopefully this game will have support just as long as Legacy Wars has had on mobile. So that'll be it for today. I will hear you guys in the next Power Rangers related video, and may the power protect you all.